What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Griever back here, bringing you guys the latest episode review of Dr. Stone. Okay, let's get right into this, because this could have been the final episode. I'm curious as to what episode 24 is really going to bring up. Yes, I've read the manga and I know what happens next, but I want to see how they're actually going to end the season, because right here, this episode, it did everything right. We acquired the cell phones. We had a beautiful, the score from the opening theme at the very end, building up to this beautiful montage. And when the main theme is in the episode, things are coming together. Things are hype. And I just am wondering what we're going to do next. We talk about the future. Spring is on its way. Tsukasa, we're going to be able to fight him now. We have cell phones. And it's a nice way to end it. So if this was the last episode of the season, I think it would be a good send-off. I'm curious to what episode 24 is. That's all I'm saying. But this episode, I would trade nothing for the world. Because once again, the goddamn Senku's voice actor, once again, don't speak Japanese. So it's quite difficult for me to go, fantastic voice, in a language that I don't understand, right? I watch a lot of Spanish shows as well on Netflix and things like that, with my wife. But I don't fully get necessarily, I can understand the emotion, but it's hard for me to go, I love that voice actor. I want to hear more of that voice actor in the way that I would an English one. But Senku's voice actor, he makes every single episode. I haven't heard the dub. I don't know if there's a dub out yet. But somebody needs to make sure that they pinpoint that charm, that charisma in that voice. Because it is perfect. Senku's voice actor, I would not trade for anything. I'd almost prefer, this sounds ridiculous, but I would almost prefer to have Senku speaking Japanese the whole time and everybody else English dub. Honestly, because I don't know if they're going to butcher that, because his voice acting is on point. It's perfect. Now, that being said, there are some feels in this episode, once again, with Kasaki. What do we see through here, right? We see, at the very beginning, we see that Senku is on his way to building everything. He's going to make the cell phone, and he basically leaves it to Chrome to, listen, I'm not going to be around. I've got to do the chemistry stuff, but somebody needs to be around to make the precision heating elements. We got to split up our forces pretty much. And he's like, you can do it sort of idea. Don't come crying to Senku Sensei for help, right? And they're just like, yeah, bam, let's do this, right? And it's a really nice scene between Chrome and Senku being like, yep, no problem. By the time you're done, we'll beat your ass. We'll get this done faster than even you could, sort of idea. That strong willpower. And after this, we see Kasaki observing this. That when they're they clap hands and sort of idea, and they're like, yeah, on point. And he laments about how this is so nice, but he's a little not disheartened, but he's a little envious. In a good way, but just in general, is that he wishes that he, from the time he was a small young boy, he loved making things. He loved building things. He loved being a craftsman. Bridges, shields, all of it. But as he says, he goes, I'm kind of jealous of you two, because I wish just once I had two friends like that. Kasaki has friends, but he's like, I wish I had two friends. I wish I had two maker buddies. You guys have science. You guys are science buddies. I wish I had a maker buddy just once, And it's such a heartwarming scene when Chrome and Senku are just like, you already have two of those. And Kasaki's like, who do you mean? And Chrome's like, us. The two of us, Senku and me. We're science buddies, sure, but we're also your crafting buddies. We're also your friends. You already have two friends in your field that understand and appreciate and work together with you. You already have that. And I'm like, Okay, and like the feels don't stop there. The feels don't stop there because then Kasaki says like, really, like, but my age, like I'm more than 50 years older than you two, and that I can understand where he's coming from in a small portion. That makes sense. Kind of like, yeah, like sure you guys are helping and you like seeing me, but I'm more like a grandpa sort of idea. You come over and we have a good time, but like I mean, how could I be friends with basically two generations after me? And he's like, even this old, even being 50 years older than you, is that like you don't find. And Combs like, what does age have to do with any of it? And Senku's already walking away. Senku's like, you're our friend, whatever. But Chrome says, like, what does age have to do with that? And Kasaki looks on. He's moved to tears. And it's such a wonderful scene. The whole episode was great. We have some great moments. And Senku's voice acting, once again, I just have to keep harping on that. But Kasaki's one of my favorite characters in Dr. Stone. And to see this side of him, to see him still feeling, to this point, to this day, still feeling like an outsider. And we get this montage of him, first being kidnapped from the village and working together with Chrome and Senku constantly over and over and over again, and realize that he kind of is. And it's such a nice scene. He starts crying about this, realizing he's well outside of his prime. He's an old man now, and it took this long, but still at this age, he still managed to finally find those maker buddies, those craftsman friends that he's always wanted. And it's so, like, right here in the fields, I just love it to death. We see everyone working really hard, of course. There's a lot of build up to making, of course, the vacuum tube and everything, and burning and heating precision to heat up the tungsten and all that stuff. And we see it all. It's done very, very nicely. Of course, the visuals are amazing. And but even after this, there are two major scenes. Like, of course, we see the building of the cell phone. That's the end of the episode, right? They finally build the cell phone. It's done with the major, with the opening theme playing as they finalize it. And as I said, that it really felt like an end of the season sort of episode. But here we get two great scenes. And since we were talking about Kasaki already, let's talk about Kasaki once again. Is that he's looking at the blueprints of what he needs to build, and he's just like, okay, and Gen tries to help him, using his mentalist abilities. Like, they've got to build this pump system. It's insane. Kasaki's just looking at it like it's crazy. Senku's saying, I don't even know if you can do it. And it's really nice, because Kasaki, after hearing that, of course, they're friends and stuff, says, I don't need any of your mental help, mentalist. Thanks anyways. And Senku, don't worry about it. There's no problem. But can we do that thing that you did with Chrome as maker buddies? And I was just like, it's cheesy, but you understand. The man is, I forget how old Kasaki is. I don't know if it's ever stated, but the man's in his 70s-ish, right? The man's old as hell, and he's waited his whole life to have someone that could not only appreciate his work, but work with him as an equal, as a friend. He's been waiting his whole life for this. And he sees, and it was the clasp that Chrome and Senku did that really hit home with Kasaki on a very emotional, personal level. And he's just like, I wish I had that. So then he asks Senku for it. He's just like, can we do that? And Senku realizes what he means, and he's just like, of course. Bang! And it's awesome, it's epic. I feel like it's that right there was the highlight, like Kasaki's backstory, and of course this finalization of Kasaki's coming full rounded as a character and how he feels and things. After this, we get to Sukiya kind of like being like, oh, Kasaki got, to, do that with Senku. Can't I do that? Sort of idea. And it's kind of like, okay, like the high five thing. And so she goes up and she says, like, basically, she wants it to. And Senku's like, yeah, sure. Like, he's giving out high fives. He's got the whole village working for him. But he's also helping the village as it grows. And that's the second big point in this episode is the village chief finally recognizing how powerful science is, how good Senku is for the village. Because not only in this great scheme of things and how he's building the cell phone and all that stuff, Senku noticed the problem. These people are working hard for him. Everything, like, he's the village chief. Everyone's working really hard for him. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to, like, byproduct. He never takes credit for anything. That's just Senku's character. But he knows what he's doing. He builds, basically, a coal pit for people to warm their hands and stuff in the houses. He builds a fireplace. He builds a like a kind of like a wood stove or a pellet stove sort of idea with the ashes and the coals from ashes and stuff. And he puts them in all the huts and such. And he's looking on and going, yeah, that's just what science does. And the village chief recognizes this and says, I understand you're working so hard on what you've been doing, but it's nice to see. And you see him walking away. Nice shot, basically being like, I feel content now. You really are the one to lead this village after all, sort of idea. It's just, everything in this is just trying to hit you in the emotions, It's just trying to hit you, and it's doing a goddamn good job. Like, everything's great, everything's fine. And actually, this ties back because at the beginning of the episode, the village chief recognizes Magma being more proactive in helping. And he's like, he never would have done that before. What happened in that cave? And Senku's like, I don't know. Once again, Senku doesn't take credit for anything or anybody. Senku never takes credit. He's just like, my job is science. I'm going to be the science guy. If I end up by proxy, if I end up helping people along the way, that's what science is supposed to do anyways. So his belief is that science is meant to help mankind, never hinder them. So it's a really nice episode. It's a great moment. 10 out of 10 episode. These last few episodes have been fantastic. I'm going to watch the last episode of the season. It should be up by the end of this week. I have some other video projects I want to get off the ground as well, so it might be a little delayed, but we're at the end stretch. We're right here. I can't wait for season 2. I haven't even checked the news. Like, do we have a release date? Is it getting renewed? Was it popular enough? I have no idea. All I know is that I love Dr. Stone, and I just want to watch more. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe as always. Don't forget to join my Discord. If you guys want to know every single time I drop a video, that's one way. Of course, you can always hit the bell notification, but you'll also be notified if you join my Discord in the description box down below. Thank you everyone so much for watching. This has been Griever with episode 23 review of Dr. Stone. See you back here next time, ladies and gentlemen.